Hello. This is Scott Rosano with Gigbuilder.com, and this is setup video number 103. And we are going to go through Tools, System Configuration, and from the System Configuration menu, we are going to go ahead and click on Company Information. Now, there's a big one, so we're going to go slowly through it. Basically, what you have in the company information is a lot about where you're set up. From images to taxes to your name, email, etc. We're going to go through this fairly slowly, but it shouldn't be that difficult, and most everything should be right up here in the old noggin. So we'll start with name and location. Company name, obviously, that is your company name. That's what you would show on your business cards or show to anybody else. It's pretty simple. Admin, your name. Again, these should have been filled in if you ran the Gigbuilder wizard. If not, the admin name, again, it's just your name. Office address. And the reason for these, like the city address and all that information, sometimes we use that on some pre-printed information. So if your office address changes, you don't have to go through all like Gigbuilder and change it. So this will make sense as we go along. So you got your state or your province, your zip or your postal code, the country that you're in, your office phone, which is separate from your cell phone. If they are the same, make them the same. Fax phone, we really don't use that anymore. The version 5 time zone was Eastern, and our time zone here is set differently. This is kind of to work. If you've never had version 5, you can ignore this. But anyway, that helps with a lot of times. And your time zones are very important for when you're sending information because it will convert it to time zones. So if you want it to go out at 2 p.m. and you live in California and you have its time zone set to Eastern, it's going to go out at 11 o'clock. So make sure you have your time zone right. We'll slide down here to system notifications and email name. That could be, again, it could be your name, could be company name. Usually when like you do an email, it'll usually have like the person's name sometimes and then the email address. That's what you're building here. Now your email address, that is the email address where you want to see all of your Gigbuilder email go to. That was required for setup. It is not required anywhere else, and you can change that to your heart's content. Gigbuilder email, this is hard-coded. You have a Gigbuilder email. You have an email system within Gigbuilder that we will explain to you throughout all these setups. But you cannot change that. That is a built-in hard-coded address that's perfectly legitimate for you to use. Next, we have several mobile phone numbers. And so put the number in. It's full 10-digit. And whether you're going to permit or no SMS. Now, SMS, we do a lot of two-way messaging and one-way messaging for that matter. So you need to turn that on for your mobile phone. If you have WhatsApp, that's fine. Send SMS links. You can just set this to yes now. Basically, a lot of times in there, we'll actually send a link with the text message that might take you to a specific event or something. We had a hard time with AT&T a while back, but that's been resolved, so I need to get that removed. And then daily summary. Daily summary, this is kind of important. You want to go ahead and send the daily summary. And the daily summary is an email that you'll get every day that's basically a summary of everything that's going on. You can also add trending songs. So it'll give you the most requested songs for events within the last 40 days. I think it just keeps rotating. But I'll just set that to send daily summary, and we'll move on. Scrolling up, we have a company image. So if you've already got an image, you can upload it by clicking here. It's pretty simple. You just click it, find the thing on your computer, and up you go. You can also pull it from the web. So if we see this upload company image, if you've already got that on the web somewhere, you could just type this in there like mysite.com/images/logo.jpg. And if that's where your image is, then it'll go ahead and upload it into the Gigbuilder system. Of course, you can also just drag and drop or push this button. If you don't have one yet or just want to kind of play with one, we have a number of them already set up with, and you can go ahead and pick from one of those. Now the next section down here, this is information that's regarding you, your company website, which would have been set up during the wizard as well. And then the rest of these addresses are things that you can send to your client through the Client Center, which we'll get to. Other ways of getting a hold of you. Next on here we have insurance. If you have the liability insurance and equipment insurance through us, we do some really cool things with that. That's why you would type in WeDJ.com, Mavon, or other carrier. If you don't, just ignore it. Sales tax. Does your area support sales tax? Is it required? This can figure that out. And fees as well. Fees would be labor. So if you lived in like New Jersey, for example, where I know it is, you can go yes by package, yes by option, yes by both. You'll probably want to go yes by both. If you have it, then put your tax rate in here, 7.5 or whatever that happens to be. For almost all of you, this will be 0. You won't need to do it. Now, email server and routing. We're going to have an entire video on this because Gigbuilder is quite powerful when it comes to email. And so I can show you different ways of doing that. But to start off with, so that we know everything works for your company, leave it to the blank of the default, which is Gigbuilder. Gigbuilder will send the mail on your behalf. Gigbuilder will also check to find out if the mail was delivered on your behalf, and it will send you a message if it's not. So there's a lot in there. Now, email replies, we can set it to reply only to Gigbuilder, which would reply back to this email you have here, the johndoe@gigbuilder.com or whatever yours is. You can have it set to reply to your company email so that the system itself will send a separate reply to, and then the email will go to the email address that you have for everything else. Or you can do both. And what both does is it mails it back to Gigbuilder, and then Gigbuilder sends a copy of it over to your mail server. The next thing we have to do, and the last thing we have to do on this particular page, is setting up your SMS numbers. Now, Gigbuilder can do text messaging like crazy. It does all sorts of it. It does two-way, for example. You can have your client be texted 3 hours before the meeting, making sure they're going to be okay, or whatever time you want. And then they can press 1 to reschedule. So we have cool things about that. The pool sets a lot. And so if you're sending an awful lot of text messages, you'll probably want to use pool. Otherwise, just pick a number. And it's from one of the numbers that we provide and we pay for. And then every single one of your messages to your clients will always be from this number. You can then give this number to your clients and let them know that text messages from your company will be coming from this number. When we are done with all this, we've made all these really cool changes. We're going to go ahead and click Save. Save will generate and store inside the system and take you back to setup, and now you're ready for the next video.